Shit property management is a really bad excuse for not wanting to invest in real estate. Is property management in Australia on average? Yes, it is. But is a lack of their communication going to be the reason for me to not make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in property investing? No. So if you've already got an investment property, here's a tip for you to work with your property managers better. Set the working expectations with them in terms of what you expect from them. And sometimes you need to outlay those expectations or remind them every time you communicate them with them. And also, it's a part leadership skill. So reward them of the behavior that they are doing well and acknowledge them for doing the thing that you like them doing. And also give them like a template or an example. So now I'm going to give you an example. So I say, hey, Mr. Property Manager, what I expect is proactive communication when there's a problem and provide me a solution when you present to me a problem. So for example, what wouldn't meet my expectations is if I was to get an email and say, hey, Olivia, your tenant in this property just let us know that the toilet's broken. What would you like to do with it? I would be very annoyed with that email. Instead, what I would like is, hey, Olivia, your tenant advised us on blah date that the toilet broke. What I've done since then is I've contacted 2 companies, 2 plumbers, to give us quotes to go out and fix it. These 2 companies have both said that they can get to the premise by blah and blah timeframes. We'll let you know once we hear back. Once we hear back, what would you like us to do with those quotes? So one of my clients used this similar sort of scenario where they had set the expectation to say, hey, I want you to consistently be giving me proactive rental appraisals so that I know how much my property can be rented for when the lease comes up. I don't want to have to ask you though for it. I want you to proactively provide it to me. And good news is, because my client had set this up, because they'd watched my training, and I can send it to you if you'd like, let me know. Comment manager and I'll send you my property management training. So because my client had used the template that I'd sent her and sent it to the property manager to say, hey, nice to meet you, new property manager. Thanks so much for reaching out to me. These are my working expectations of what I expect from you and how to communicate with me proactively. What happened was that property manager, before they settled, so clients buying a brand new property, it's 2 weeks out before settlement, they're about to advertise the property, and they reran the numbers on the rental appraisal to see how much that they could rent it for. Now, they had already ran a rental appraisal back when the client put in an offer to buy the property, which was over 2 months ago. So the rent has gone up a lot. And that happens a lot with the current very, 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 very low vacancy rates across Australia. But what most property managers wouldn't do is they would not rerun those numbers again. However, because my client had then set the working expectations of what they wanted, that property manager then followed through with that. What has that resulted in? An extra $40 per week in pocket to the owner, which results in the owner the investor being able to fix things better and quicker for the tenants, providing a high quality service. And it's 2 birds with 1 stone because it also increases their borrowing capacity as well. So surface level, you might think, oh, that's communication. Doesn't that just make sense? Isn't it just common sense, Olivia? You'd be surprised how many people don't know this stuff. You would be surprised at how many people would miss out on that extra $40,000 because they didn't communicate with their property manager properly because they didn't have these leadership type of skills, which means that they could potentially miss out on another $10,000 or $20,000 in borrowing capacity, which could be the difference of you buying the next property or missing out on buying the next property. Or it could also be the difference of you being able to sleep at night. Because on average in Australia, the largest percentage of Australian property investors or landlords out there are just mum and dad investors. And when those mum and dad investors who don't know my formula and don't know how to buy property and build wealth with ease, they might get an invoice to fix a toilet for $400 of which they don't have. But imagine if they had been banking that extra $40 a week over a whole year could have been the thing to pay for the toilet. And you would be surprised how many mum and dad investors out there would lose sleep over it. So it is your duty, if you're a landlord out there, to charge the most that you can at the top of the percentage of the bracket as to what it's worth, not overcharge, so that you can then provide a very high quality service in return, aka fix stuff as soon as it breaks. So I hope that added value for you. So let's go out there, invest with ease so we can get the highest ROI in life, eh?